More questions or want to talk to them some more, their table again is out in the exhibition hall. Our next speaker is the director of the Center for Workforce Development of the Louisville Urban League. Her responsibilities include day-to-day leadership to assure that services are offered to motivate and prepare job seekers to be competitive in their search for employment. Through advocacy, she promotes the development of collaborative partnerships and is at establishing outreach and awareness programs that promote quality customer service to employers and job seekers, and assessing and addressing the workforce need of the greater Louisville community. Please welcome Juanita Sands.
Thank you, and good morning. It is a pleasure to be here to speak with you briefly about making your resume top-notch. My question is it 2010 or is it 1994? Because many of you may have been in the workforce for a long time and have found yourselves now seeking for work, looking for work again. So we want to talk briefly about how to ensure your resume is a good marketable tool that will get you in the door for that interview. Get yourself in the door to the interview, making your resume top-notch. The first thing I want to talk to you about are the top 10 resume mistakes, the things that you don't want to do. And many of the employers you've heard from today have stated this, but I want to reiterate it. Typos and grammatical errors. Always do spell check and make sure that your resume does not have typos and grammatical errors. Do not leave out specifics in your resume. Make sure that your resume has all of the specifics in there that you're going to need. Attempting a one-size-fits-all. If all of you in this room had a resume and you tried to make it all look the same, you use the same template and all, it's not going to be effective for you. It has to be tailored specifically. Highlighting your duties instead of your accomplishments. Make sure that an employer, the Humanas of the world, the Churchill Downs of the world, see what your accomplishments are. Not so much the duties that you've performed on previous jobs, but what did you accomplish while on those jobs? Going on too long or cutting things too short. You want to make sure that you include all of your experience, all of your skills, all of your achievements, and you don't necessarily need to put that on one page. It's okay to have a multiple-page resume. Having a bad objective. Personally speaking, I don't think you should have an objective at all. And if you do, you need to change the objective specifically to tailor it for the position for which you are applying. So be sure that you don't use that template that's in the Word document, looking for a particular position in a growing company. That doesn't make sense and it's not relevant, okay? No action verbs. You want to put plenty of action verbs in there. What you've developed, what you've coordinated, those types of things. You want to make sure you include action verbs. Leaving off important information. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. Visually too busy. You can have too many words in too confined space. I used to work in human resources, and I know that many employers are going to want to see white space. They don't want to see a size 8 font. It makes it very hard to read. So you want your resume to be visually right. And incorrect contact information. Personally, we also have tried to call people, and their phone numbers have changed. Their phone numbers are disconnected. So you always want to make sure that your contact information on your resume is accurate. Choosing the best format. It's really essential that you choose wisely your resume format. Find a suitable layout that will help you highlight your strengths and hide or disguise your shortcomings. That's important as well. Do you use a chronological resume? Perhaps. Do you use a functional resume? Do you use a combination of the two? Or do you use a technical resume? And it's important to do research. There's so much information out on the internet now to figure out what the best resume format is for you. If it's chronological, but you've had a lot of broken periods of employment, you don't want to do it that way. Is it functional? You really need to understand the types of resumes and design one that is best suited for you. The first impression of a resume. You heard the Churchill Downs exec talking about it. You heard the Humana people talk about it. Does the resume look original, and is it not based on a template, just a template in in a Word document? Is the resume inviting to read with clear sections and ample white space? Does the design look professional rather than like a simple typing job? Did you just sit down and type words on a sheet of paper, or did you put it together and put some thought into it? Are the qualifications summary included so the reader immediately knows your value? You need to know that. You need to ask yourself that. Does what you state in the resume match up with the job that you are applying for? Have you tailored it specifically so that real soon the Humana talent person will see that you are a good match for that position? Is the resume's length and overall appearance appropriate given the career level and objective? Ask yourself that question. Some people, if you're just out of high school or just out of college, you may have a one-page resume. You don't have a whole lot of work experience, so one page is fine. But if you've been in the work environment for many, many years, then you're going to have to carry over to a second page. But you need to carry over with pertinent information. 5 signs that your resume may be passé. It means it's outdated. You're not using the current format for a resume. You forced it to fit onto one page. It won't work for everyone. You've reduced your font size to a size 8, which makes it really, really tiny. Eliminated margins altogether and left out key information about yourself, all to conform to the age-old one-page resume format. That doesn't work. It's a big mistake. You want your resume to be representative of your experience and your skills. Now, don't get me wrong, and I did a lot of research on this presentation on the internet, quite honestly, and found out, quite honestly, that my resume is outdated too, just the whole format of it, okay? So I learned from this as well. But your resume should be concise. Recruiters are busy people. I used to be in recruiting. I know that. They don't have time or patience for long-winded resumes or career chronologies. But if your experience warrants 2 pages, then don't limit yourself to just the one. You list an objective. I talked about that a few minutes ago. I don't think objectives should be listed unless you are going to take the time to specifically phrase your objective to meet the position for which you are currently applying, okay? So be careful about that and look at keywords that are in the job posting and make sure that you can tailor your objective statement appropriately for that particular position. If you want to explain why you're applying for the job, do that in a cover letter. That's not where it should not be in the resume. But you can put more in a cover letter about your interest for the position and your objective for applying for the position. You don't brand yourself. A resume is a marketing tool. It's a marketing instrument. It is what is going to get you to an interview. So you need to make sure that the resume is good and is representative of your talents, your skills, and your experience. And in today's environment with social networking and URL sites and job portals like Monster.com and Kicks.com, and all of the companies also have you, most of them really, have you apply online. You want to make sure that you brand yourself. You have to make sure that your resume has on there what your real skills are, that you have key words in your resume that match the position for which you are applying. They want to see that you have those skills.